Alright, we're going to start doing some word problems, and we're just going to start learning how to translate, because if you think about algebra, algebra is really just a language of symbols and things that denote these physical quantities or these relationships between these things. So we're just going to work on a very simple one here. We said John is 5 inches shorter than Steve. If Steve is 66 inches tall, how tall is John? Alright, well, if Steve is 66 inches, alright, now, this shorter here, oops, shorter. If I say something is shorter, wouldn't I just take my 66 inches here and subtract 5 inches? Wouldn't that make him shorter by 5 inches? So, very simple example here. So we get 66 minus 5 is 61. So John is 61 inches tall. All right. So some basic translations. Taller. You know, if he's 5 inches taller, we're going to add whatever that is. So, 5 inches taller would be plus 5. Shorter, as we saw, 5 inches shorter would be minus 5. Now, we want to be real careful when we do our subtraction. When we're told that something is shorter, we always want to take what it's shorter than and then subtract 5. So if I don't want to write it as 5 minus 66, okay? Because in English we say it from left, we say 5 inches shorter than 66. But in math, it doesn't work that way. We've got to take our larger quantity and always subtract the smaller one first. So we would write this as 66 minus 5 like we did. Okay, so let me clear off real quick. Let's see, some translations here, some keywords that we want to look at in word problems that give us, equivalencies in math. Is an equal sign. So if we say, the product of two numbers is 45, then we have something equals 45. That is means equals. Of, we always use multiplication. So if I'm doing, we'll get into percentages later, but if I'm doing 60% of 50 is what number? Right? 60% of 50, this would be times 50, and we'll get into this later, but the way we write 60%, 60 over 100. And then here's our is again, so we have equals. Alright? Now anytime we ever say, we ask what number or what quantity or what amount, we're going to use a variable. And for sake of argument, I just choose X, but you could choose Y, you could choose Z. I can actually call it happy face if I want to, as long as I can keep track of whatever variable I'm working with here. So what number I would write as X. So here we go. And like I said, we'll get into percentages later, but just to get some basic idea of what these expressions mean when we translate to math. All right, so let's clear out here. Let's see. Let's do a simple one. If I add 2 to a number, the sum is 54. Alright? Well, if I add 2 to a number, now this a number is another key word here. A number, that just means a number we don't know. And what do we use for a number we don't know? Well, we use a variable. Just for the sake of getting you guys used to using different variables, I'm going to use Y in this case. Could use X, could use Z, could use W, could use a picture of a dog, could use a happy face, whatever we wanted to, as long as we can keep track of this variable. Alright, so if I add 2 to a number, so there's my number, we're going to add 2 to it. Alright, so plus 2. The sum, and the sum just means when I add these two together, I sum them up, is, there's another key word, is 54. So there we go. The sum of a number and 2 is 54. So this is just a one-step equation, so all I got to do is just subtract 2 from both sides, and we get that number, y, is equal to 52. And if I do take 52 and I add 2, I do get to 54. So there you go. We're going to get more complicated as we go, but we want to get the basics down. So let's see. How about, oh, I don't know. Let's make one up here. Twice a number and less 4 is 12, is equal to 12. 12. Find the number. Alright, well, twice, anytime we see twice, 3 times, 4 times, anytime we have something times, well, that's exactly what it means. It means it's times it. So we're going to start by saying twice a number. Remember, a number is just a variable, and we'll use w this time just to get you out of always expecting x, because we don't want to always expect x, because we can have a bunch of different variables. Alright, less 4, well, less, if I have less, remember John was 5 inches less than or shorter than, so we're going to be subtracting. So twice a number less 4 is equal to, well, is equal to 12. Alright, and then now we have a two-step equation, and we can just solve from there. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. Alright, it's going to give me 2w equals 12 and 4 is 16. And then now we just divide by 2, both sides. 2's cancel. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So that number is 8. Alright, we're going to get more into this later. I just wanted to kind of give you a brief introduction on, because one of the biggest things that, biggest headaches that math students have is word problems. So we want to get those started earlier and make sure you understand what you're doing so that you start building your own equations instead of just following step by step and doing what I call cookie cutter math. Alright, we'll see y'all in the next video.